This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Well, good evening here at 7 o'clock, and thanks for being here with us. I'm Mark Mullins. The top educators in Marion County are standing together against racism in their districts. The school superintendents have declared their schools a no racism zone. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson explains this initiative.
The superintendents in Marion County schools have vowed to learn, apply, and teach anti-racism in all of their schools. That's 11 school districts coming together for one cause to end racism in schools. Schools will display no racism zone signs, and parents will be given a list of resources to help them discuss racism with their students. The resources are available for children of every age, posted on their website. Earlier this week, the districts posted a video pledging to stand together against racism.
Change is required. Action is demanded.
We stand in solidarity with our communities to build a more just and compassionate world, to abolish racism, value social justice, and respect human dignity.
The schools are reviewing district policies and employee trainings to make sure they can address racism, harassment, and discrimination in a meaningful way. Also tonight, the stadium lights at each school will be turned off for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in honor of George Floyd, who was killed in Minneapolis. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Another example of how Call 6 investigates gets results. State lawmakers are taking action in response to our investigation into how the state will not release where people are dying in nursing homes and where the outbreaks are happening. Call 6 Investigates has been fighting since mid-April to find out where the COVID-19 outbreaks happened in nursing homes and where people have died at long-term care facilities. Now a group of lawmakers is joining that fight. Senators Gene Breaux, Eddie Melton, and Frank Miravan wrote a letter to the governor calling on the state to collect and make the data public. They credited our reporting for having an impact.
For you to have taken this up in your articles and continuing articles, I think it's excellent. It's wonderful. And it certainly then helps me when I send letters out, because I know that I'm not the only one doing it, and that there are others coming from different places besides just me.
The governor has not responded to the letter. We also reached out to Republican members of the House and Senate Health Committees, and we are still waiting to hear back. Now to the latest on the toll the COVID-19 pandemic is taking on Hoosier lives. The State Department of Health says 2,327 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19. More than 41,000 have been diagnosed with the virus. More than 392,000 people have been tested, with 10.6% testing positive.
Well, Mark, today we did it for the first time this year in Indianapolis. We made it to that 90-degree mark, and we may add another one here in the very near future. Temperatures out there this evening, still 90 degrees in Lafayette and Muncie, as well as Bedford, 91 in Sullivan, while it's 87 degrees in Indianapolis. We had a couple of isolated showers out there this afternoon and this evening. Those have all faded away, and it will be very quiet here as we go through the rest of the night, and warm. Temperatures will still be in the 70s here as we go into the overnight. We'll take you through your weekend in just a few minutes.
While Central Indiana's LGBTQ community celebrates Pride Month, a new report highlights some of the struggles that persist. The Damien Center and several other groups surveyed close to 700 self-identifying gay or transgender people about their lives. 44% reported being harassed, threatened, or attacked in the last year. 17% have experienced homelessness. 20% feel depressed most days. And 145 of those surveyed said they have tried to take their own lives. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker talked to advocates who believe a community center dedicated to all things LGBTQ could help address those issues.
In Indianapolis, there are several organizations dedicated to helping the LGBTQ plus community, but right now, there's not a centralized place to access those resources.
An LGBTQ center, it can fill many of these gaps. It can fill a lot of hardships by providing employment and housing services, and it can also provide primary mental health care.
Dr. Dustin Nowaski knows a lot about the importance of improving access. He founded OutCare back in 2015.
I think most people would be surprised that there are a lot of LGBTQ organizations within Indianapolis and across Indiana, but a lot of them were not talking to one another.
OutCare linked all those organizations, and now it's turned into a nationwide database for LGBTQ plus folks to find doctors and other professionals and organizations that can meet their specific needs, much like an LGBTQ center would do here in Indy.
For me, the center kind of embodies like OutCare in a physical space. So it's nice that we're a partner, and we're absolutely happy to be a part of this group and provide our services.
At IYG, we serve youth ages 12 to 20. And when those youth age out right now, when they turn 21, there's really no place for them to go except to the bars.
That's just one of the reasons why Indiana Youth Group Executive Director Chris Paulson says Indianapolis needs an LGBTQ center.
We don't want to age our youth out into the bars. They need a safe space that they can go that's not based around alcohol, and someplace that they can network and receive services that they desperately need.
Chris and Dustin are hopeful the community at large will see all these organizations coming together and choose to support this cause.
A city the size of Indianapolis should definitely have an LGBTQ center.
I hope that other organizations that want to be a part of this, it is a monumental feat, that if they can contribute in any way, if they can be a part of the conversation, I think that can go a long way.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
President Trump back on Twitter today, this time sending a warning to anyone who might try to protest at his rally tomorrow in Oklahoma. That story coming up here.
Just search RTV6. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
One of the highest-ranking black women working for the president resigned over his response to Black Lives Matter protests. Mary Elizabeth Taylor said President Trump's words and actions cut sharply against her core values and convictions. Taylor has served as Assistant Secretary of State for Legislative Affairs in the Trump administration since 2018. There has been no comment from the White House. President Trump is warning protesters to stay away from his re-election rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma tomorrow. The president tweeted, quote, "Please understand you will not be treated like you have been in New York, Seattle, or Minneapolis." President Trump claims it will be, quote, "be a much different scene," end quote. The rally was pushed forward a day so it would not be a conflict with Juneteenth, a day that celebrates the end of slavery. The selection of Tulsa itself is controversial, as it is the site of some of the worst racist violence in American history. Juneteenth, not just history, not just an anniversary, it is the past, present, and future, all tied together, moments in time that define the black experience in America. Today, June 19th, marks 155 years since a federal order was read in Galveston, Texas, saying all enslaved people in Texas were free. Our own Troy Washington has ties to all of this. She takes us along the journey of Juneteenth.
My grandfather always tells me Juneteenth is not just a day, it's a part of who I am. After all, I was born just a stroll away from where Major General Gordon Granger stood out on a balcony in Galveston, Texas, to tell the slaves they were free.
To the balcony and read that as of this moment, the slaves of Texas would be free, and they would have the same accordance as their master. If they were to be worked, they were to be hired out, and they would be paid a fair wage.
Let's do the math. That announcement came in 1865, but really Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years before. That means the slaves were free but didn't know because the news took that long to reach them.
Freedom to them was much more than it is to us now. What freedom was to them is because back before this happened, the only thing that our ancestors had to look forward to was the sizzling heat, the rawhide whip of the overseers.
I admit I grew up competing in Juneteenth pageants and going to the park every year to celebrate, but even I couldn't fathom the weight the day held for those kept in captivity for more than 200 years in America. June 19th became Juneteenth, the day black people celebrate finally being free at last from bondage.
Back in the days, there were ball games, rodeos, field barbecue. Everybody just had plenty for everybody. You know, it wasn't a thing. Nobody was selling nothing.
Originally, everything was free on Juneteenth. Over the years, that's evolved, but the message hasn't changed. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Tonight, an ABC News special is looking at the legacy of Juneteenth. The program will examine symbolism in the black community and the nation. A team of correspondents and The View's Whoopi Goldberg will feature the celebrations across the country, as well as stories of overcoming injustice. The special, Juneteenth, A Celebration of Overcoming, airs tonight at 8 o'clock right here on RTV6.
It's getting very dry across central Indiana, close to drought conditions, but we have some needed rain on the way. I'll let you know if that'll have you changing your weekend plans. You're watching RTV6 News at 7. RTV6 is teaming up with Kroger and Second Helpings and spending this week focused on raising money and feeding Indiana families. My co-anchor Amanda Starantino is at Second Helpings with more on this partnership and how you can help.
Before COVID, 1 in 6 Hoosiers were hungry. Now, because of the pandemic, that number is even higher. And that's why we are doing what we are doing this week. We've been telling you about it all week to donate a little bit extra cash when you are buying your groceries at Kroger. Now, this is going to go through Sunday, and we want to let you know why it's so important to just add an extra $1 or $2 to your receipt when you're checking out this weekend. We're at Second Helpings, and I'm with the CEO of Second Helpings, Jennifer Vigran, to tell us a little bit more of how much of an impact those dollars have on the people you're feeding.
That's correct. You know, it only costs $1.20 a meal to rescue the food, prepare the food, and deliver it to any of the dozens of agencies that we partner with. So if people go to their Kroger store and just round up or add an extra $1 or $2, it really can make a tremendous difference for a family that's struggling right now.
A huge difference. And how many families are you feeding right now?
So right now we are delivering about 10,000 meals a day throughout the central Indiana area. So you could just imagine how many families are really benefiting from the food that we're providing and from our partnership with Scripps and Kroger.
And can you talk about the impact COVID has had on these families?
You know, there are so many families that never knew what hunger was like, who suddenly found themselves out of work and really struggling. There are seniors who are still homebound, and people who have compromised immune systems. All those people really rely on Second Helpings to make sure they get the food that they need.
It's something that a lot of us don't even think about every day is where we're getting our next meal from. And Second Helpings is making that happen for all these families struggling right now to be able to do so. So the last count we had was $1,300 donated this week because of this fundraiser. And just over 700 people have donated. So we still need your help. We want that number to get higher. So remember, $1.20 feeds one person. And imagine being hungry for just one day and how much of an impact that can have. For more information on this and how you can help, go to theindychannel.com/feeding Hoosiers. Reporting in Indianapolis, Amanda Starantino, WRTV.
Again, that runs through Father's Day, Sunday. AMC says it plans to reopen 600 movie theaters next month. The chain says it will be moving in stages and be fully operational by July 24th. It's implementing a new program to curb the spread of COVID-19. AMC says it will reduce seating capacity, implement new cleaning procedures, and limit concessions. The company says everyone at the theater will have to wear a mask to get in. The coronavirus pandemic forced countless cinemas to temporarily close and ravaged the industry. Two popular children's cough medicines, Robitussin and Dimetap, have been voluntarily recalled. The specific products are children's Robitussin honey cough and chest congestion DM and children's Dimetap cold and cough. The company GlaxoSmithKline says the recall is due to potential overdose risks. The wrong size dosing cups were put in the packages, which could cause parents to put too much medicine in the cup. The recall includes lots sold between February and the beginning of June. If you bought the medicine, you can go to FDA.gov to check the lot number and see if it's included in the safety recall.
It's been over 2 weeks now since we've had some measurable rain in the Indianapolis area, and that's allowing these temperatures to continue to warm up. And in fact, today, again, got to 90 degrees. It is still toasty out there right now at 87. Humidity, still not too bad, though. It's at 39% as we've got a west breeze between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Temperatures around central Indiana, Zionsville right now, a pair of 8s on the thermometer. Same for you in Bloomington, while it's 86 in Kokomo under those partly sunny skies. Tonight, we'll have a few clouds around town. temperatures really not going to cool all that much. We are going to start off our weekend in the middle to upper 60s, and then we'll see those numbers warming pretty quickly from there. And officially, summer arrives tomorrow afternoon at 5:44. And yeah, I think we'll have another 90-degree day to go along with it. Those temperatures will actually make their way already into the middle 80s by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll have a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. A little bit of a breeze, not much of one, but also we're going to have that humidity creeping up a little bit more. I think it will be even more noticeable as we go into our Sunday. But Saturday afternoon, high temperatures area-wide, right around 90 degrees again. 92 in Indianapolis. The record, though, 100 degrees. So we won't be that hot as we go through the first half of the weekend here. 90 for you in Lafayette, 91 in Bloomington. Then Sunday for Father's Day, we do have the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. That will keep us out of the 90s to around 87 degrees, but I do think we've got some dry time in there. You notice as we look at that timeline here, though, with the rain chances, it stays in that chance category through much of the day, increases a little bit as we go into the afternoon. This is TrueCast by 9 o'clock Sunday morning. We've got a batch of rain moving through, may break down and get some dry time around the lunch hour or so, and then as we get into the evening, a little more in the way of some rain coming our direction. Your 7-day planning forecast now as we put it all together, and there is some needed rainfall here. We've only picked up a little over an inch here in the month of June, and we'll see some more of that going into Monday and Tuesday. Should be fairly widespread, but still not everyone going to get in on the wet weather. We stay with those highs close to 90 degrees through Monday, and then a front will sweep through the area. That will bring down rain chances by Wednesday, and also the humidity with those high temperatures in the lower to middle 80s. The news at 7. We'll be right back.
Among the last businesses to be reopening in Indiana are those with live entertainment like theaters and concert halls. Our Brad Brown reports the shows will go on, but if you're ready for a night out, expect things to be quite a bit different inside.
For the past 3 months, stages all over the Hoosier State have been silenced. This weekend, the comeback tour begins.
Judging by ticket sales so far, we've already sold half the tickets for Saturday night. So people are ready to get out, and I think if we're doing it safely and doing it by the book, then we're going to be just fine.
The Hi-Fi in Fountain Square will be among the first to resume live concerts. Among the new COVID-19 protocols, masks are required for entry, touchless payments at the bar, and just 50% capacity. Only 200 tickets will be sold for these first concerts.
None of us had ever been through this before. There's no playbook for this, and we work with a lot of venues nationally too, to take best practices and learn from everybody else what they're doing, venues that have already opened, and how to, properly add all these new safety procedures and things like that, because seeing a show is going to be a little bit different.
For these small venues, any shows will be a much-needed boost to a year that was pretty much wiped out by acts and tours canceling for the rest of 2020.
I think the experience from entering into the show is going to have a little bit different feeling, and it's something to get used to. I think we're like this for a while, so once fans get used to it, it'll be fine.
We just went from, trying to be as busy as we could possibly be to just cramming the brakes and flying through the windshield, and it's been insane.
At the historic Vogue Theater in Broad Ripple, next weekend will mark their first live event after a 14-week layoff. They've used the time to make updates inside for new social distancing protocols.
Just creating opportunities for everybody to spread out and feel safe, and I think that if and when things get back to normal, that extra space will benefit us down the road, but that's going to be a huge help to us in the short term.
The past 3 months have been a trial in simply surviving for small venues like these all over Indiana.
It's all going to boil down to the fans. If the fans don't buy tickets and come back, it doesn't matter who we have on the stage. It doesn't matter what we do.
There's just all these little moments that kind of happen throughout the night. I think that's going to come back immediately. I just might be wearing a mask while I'm doing it, and that's okay.
There's so many little wrinkles of the live aspect of a concert that you just can't get with a sterile live stream, and we hope that people still remember that, still love that, and I don't think any of us want to live in a world without that.
Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Well, bars and nightclubs can go into full capacity in Phase 5 of the governor's Back on Track plan. That's scheduled for July 4th. But each venue is on its own agenda as to what that will look like. You should check websites and Facebook pages for information on a specific location.
A pool or the lake, the place to be tomorrow, as we're once again going to climb into the 90s with just a spotty shower or storm. We'll have a little more rainfall as we go into our Sunday and Father's Day. And as we carry those rain chances into next week, eventually things will cool down again. Mark.
All right. Thanks for joining us for RTV6 News at 7. We're back with you tonight at 11. Have a good evening, everyone.